How you going, guys? Ben from More 4x4 here. So we've got this troopy in again. We built this like last year, the whole thing, and it's coming back in because he's needing more power. He's just got a brooder caravan, and essentially now we're doing injectors, turbo, clutches, full ARMAX package. So what we're going to get into today is pull all the top end apart, get the injectors in there. Then get in the turbo, replace the turbo to the ARMAX unit. Then do the clutch. Once that's all the mechanical side of things are together, we can reprogram the injectors, have it all running again, and then get the actual ARMAX ECU module in the vehicle. We've actually also got a pre-filter unit and a oil separator to go in the vehicle as well. So I'll all go in there and yeah, see how it goes. Hey, so now we've got the rock cover out, we've got all the injectors out, we've got them back over on here. So just laying out all the new lines. The couple of reasons why we actually changed the lines out. So the original lines, they actually can degrade. So obviously inside all the edges, they can actually start breaking away a bit, but also where you actually clamp it down on the taper there, when you actually back it off and then clamp it down in a different spot, that can cause issues as well. So we always change out common rail diesel lines. On this particular job, there's also seals that have actually, 3 of them have got stuck inside the head, so that's a bit more playing around for me. Luckily 1 came out, so that's good. That pretty much covers it for now. Good to go on the driver's side. Now we move on to the passenger side. That's a fair bit more complicated, purely because of all the extra stuff, more or less, that goes over the top of the cover. So we're well into that now. The cover's about to come off, and we'll just hope that we don't have more stuck washers. And then we may be able to get this done today. How you going, guys? All right, so day 2. Another thing I forgot to mention yesterday is we actually send the injectors back. So we send them back to our supplier. A couple of reasons why is it helps with cutting down costs. They rebuild the injectors. So that's an amazing, so we're not just basically throw away injectors. They reuse, replace, recycle. So yeah, definitely day 2, turbo, super excited, get this in here. And let's get it done. How you going, guys? So we've got basically now the gearbox is out, the turbo's out, the new one's here ready to go in. We've just got to set that up by putting a few studs and so forth onto it. So, fairly involved job.
What's the main difference between the 2 turbos?
Okay, so as soon as you essentially look at them, you can see the different size of the impeller. So they're tuned completely differently as well. All right. And then when we look at the back, you can see the difference in size of the exhaust as well. So that's how you get so much better performance out of these turbos. Guys, so since the last time we caught up, we've done a couple of things. we've done some modifications to the exhaust. So now we've got the EGT probe for the ECU module, and I've relocated the red arc gauge EGT probe because that was actually hanging out a bit too far. It was also the depth was not correct. So I've redone that. So now they're kind of just sitting next to each other in a bit different spot, and I've also plugged up the original bung, so because that's no longer needed. We've sent the flywheel away to get machined. That was the gearbox was out last time, you saw that. I've also started to get the ECU in the vehicle. This whole bracket system also houses the catch can over here. There's actually a dipstick relocation bracket down there because it's fairly tight through here, but that fits beautifully through there. There's also a fuel filter that runs nicely down in there. So that basically, the fuel lines run nicely around the back there, and they'll go into your factory filter there. And that pretty much covers that. Once we've finished up all the wiring, then we'll go through in a little bit more detail. So this system is essentially going to be linked as a one battery pack, right? Like, rather than having a typical 70 series battery, which will be here, and then often a dual battery, which is mounted here, these are mounted together as one. So I have to also reconfigure where the earths and the positives are linked in together, so these can operate as one system. I've also, with these accessories here, these run for his fridge and his rooftop and all the rest of it. These are also running through a smart battery disconnect. So these all have to actually run into the car, to the smart battery disconnect, and through his other accessories, and then back down. So this whole fuse panel here is voltage controlled. So this will cut out if all those accessories run to a certain voltage, they'll all cut out. So then he can still start his car. I'm not so worried about these accessories because they're all spotlights and so forth, and then he shouldn't be running his spotlights and everything when his car's off anyway, because they're very high voltage. 180 amps of power sitting here, combination, so he's got plenty.
So, working on this Trooper here, and we've looked everywhere to try and find a system to hide everything. So I came up with myself, you know what, got to do my own. Made this bracket out of some steel, some bends and stuff. It's going to hide the compressor, solar, self-fire, all in here. Behind the panel up in there, panel back over it, never going to see it, it's all hidden, all out of the way. And you know, it's a lot better than what we've seen anywhere. So.
All right, so we've just got all this gear in the car, all this safari gear. Now we've just got to go for a drive, 5-10 minute drive, just to warm it completely up, and then we can do a bit of a power run, first, second, third, and through to fourth, so we can actually send the file away to get checked from Safari. It's part of the process. So yeah, get done. All right, so we've just done the final road test after the new file's been put on there. It is going absolutely amazingly. So yeah, we're really happy. and yeah, everything's going great. So when we get back to the shop, we'll go through the 5-stage map settings, which is amazing for all the different types of driving everyone will be doing. So yeah, we'll go through that in just a sec. All right, so we're back from the final test drive. We're just going through a few things. I want to run down the 5 settings in the controller in here. So we've got 1 to 5. 5 is basically back to standard. So if you wanted to, you know, getting your wife to drive it or something like that. We've got the comfort as number 1 and through down to 4 as your main modified files. Most of these, they'll have a full power throughout, but they are modified torque and also the pedal control. So namely say position 4, you've got, that's essentially like an off-road mode, more or less. So you've still got full power, but it's not as responsive on the pedal. So you're not going to be spinning wheels and carrying on. Versus number 2 is sport. So that's like all out, let's go. Let's see how this thing moves. So this, like, the car drives incredibly. This client, he actually has a Brooder caravan, and he's not going to know the difference. Like, this was struggling to tow it before. This thing is just going to power down the road. All right, if you're loving this content, if you want to see more Safari 4x4 gear, let us know. And yeah, final goodbye. Thanks, guys.